Hey, y'all, it's me, your host, Coach Pilar Arthur Sneed. Thanks so much for joining me here for another episode of The Last 10th. I am so excited to welcome registered dietitian Esosa Osagiede to the show today. I wanted to have Esosa come to the show because I absolutely love how she approaches diet and nutrition. She does it with an emphasis on, I think, reclaiming our heritage in food as Black people. I love that. I love that emphasis. So, Esosa, let's talk about this. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Yes, of course, of course. Super happy, excited to be here, especially on a Friday. I mean, it's just like a great time to have this.
Yes, you can end your day and then you can go back about your business and just relax on your Friday night. So you're
Exactly.
in, you're out, a little business, and then it's the rest of your day. Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. So tell me a little bit about you. I love it when my guests just share with me a little bit about their journey, and you can share anything that you would like at all.
Okay. Ooh, okay. So yeah, my name is Esosa. I am a registered dietitian, nutritionist. To get to even just saying it out loud still feels unreal.
Mm,
Because the journey to get to this place has been a rocky one.
okay.
Okay, so I feel like I'm in a place where I make my decisions. I'm very intuitive now. I just
Mm,
really kind of think about what's going on internally, look at my surroundings, and really just kind of go off just intuition and then also
mm,
prayer. But also, I am comfortable with being uncomfortable now. I think that's essential for whatever journey you are trying to be on.
absolutely.
And let's see, I would say I am a Black woman who holds both privilege and underserved. Let's see, not properties. What's the word? Identities.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
So that's a little bit about me. Just a
Yes.
little
So tell me a little bit more about holding space in two identities, particularly being a Black woman and then being a Black woman with privilege. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Definitely. So when I was going through my undergrad degree, they really didn't teach us much about heritage or culture when it came to nutrition. We were told
Mm,
like these foods are healthy and that's it.
mm,
But again, I was usually only black person in the class or one of
mm,
two black people.
mm,
So I just knew I'm privileged to be in this space, but
mm,
there's a disparity happening here when we talk about we look at high blood pressure, diabetes, kidney disease, and it's like, okay, it's mostly like affecting black people, but I'm the only
mm,
black person here. So I felt honored. Again, it was a privilege to be in this space. Kudos to
mm,
my parents just for having me on a certain path. But then also, I just realized there's a huge disparity at the same time.
mm,
um, then when I got into my graduate school degree, they just were great. They gave me the opportunity to really dive deep into those health disparities. What I was not given at all in my undergrad degree. But I feel like again going to grad school, being able to find a job who would pay for my graduate degree, that stuff is a privilege. And I even talk about I was a undergraduate teacher in my grad program, and then we
mm.
talked about privilege. And just me, a lot of my students came up to me, you're the first black teacher I've ever had, and it's like
Wow.
it brought up a lot of emotions just for me, but I felt
Sure.
so honored to be in this space. So I feel like again, I hold privilege, but then also um, when they say like a lot of my students, again, white students, I would to ask them who's paying for their tuition or who has student debt. A lot of them, probably five people raised their hand, and here's me. $60,000 in the hole. I mean, I
Right.
couldn't go to school without
Right.
paying. You know, even sometimes my parents, hey, can we borrow like whatever? Like they never had to, maybe send some money home or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a balance. I was very appreciative for where I was, but I recognized like there are some areas that need improvement.
Yes.
So we can, make this more inclusive
Yes.
environment.
Yes. So talk to me a little bit about how you came to being involved in this food arena. Like what was the
Right.
journey to that said, you said, I want to help people
Hmm.
in food, just all of it.
Yeah.
How did you get here?
So there's only 2% of dietitians who are black. So it's like, first of all, how, I would have never known if my mom, she's a registered nurse, and
Mm,
she saw me. I was always so interested in reading these books about food and nutrition, not just, of course, my cookbooks, but I really wanted to know what was riboflavin doing in my body? What was thiamine
sure,
doing in my body?
sure.
So, and then she was like, okay, maybe cook. And I was like, that don't feel right. So then she was going to work, still maybe just looking in the hospital for me, keeping her eyes peeled. That's all moms do. That she was like, really like, I'm going to help my kid out. She came home and she was like, it's these women. Usually they're all white. They're white women who are walking around and they help people with their diet. I think you should look into being a dietitian.
Mm.
That was the first time I've ever heard anybody say dietitian, and that's really where it was all born.
How old are you?
I was 17.
Okay.
Yeah, 17. So just about to go to college, still trying to figure out what am I gonna do. And then boom, that was it. I was like, okay, dietetics, I'm snatching it. I ran with it. But I got into school and there was a huge learning curve because just like a lot of people don't realize, nutrition is a huge science. And this
Mm-hmm.
biochemistry, this organic chem, that macronutrients, this. It was like it was a huge learning curve for me. And then
Mm-hmm.
also
Mm-hmm.
um, being the only black person that I only saw, it just felt I had, again, this is me starting to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I have to ask these questions. I don't care if I look crazy, or because you have this also trying not to, because a lot of people, unfortunately, as black people being in an environment, they think you represent everybody, and that's kind of
Yes.
internalized
Oh,
too. Like
absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't want to just
when
sound
you when
dumb.
you are the only when you are the only in any
Yeah,
space, it doesn't
yeah,
matter whether you're a black person, whether you're a queer person, whether you're a
yeah,
disabled person, you become the monolith. And anything that you say, people who are the predominant people within that environment are going to
yeah.
they tend to assume that you speak for all of the people. And I think
Yeah.
that this applies very much so to black people. I've been the only literally my entire life from yay high to a grasshopper.
Wow.
I think things are changing. I think
Yeah.
people are they're changing very slowly. There people are starting to see that while we are all black and brown people, we don't all necessarily, not every black person has the same cultural identity. There are multiple cultural
What? Yeah.
identities for black people, right?
Oh
Like
God, you
myself,
me started.
I'm Afro-Latina, right? So like my father is
Yes.
Panamanian, my mother is African American, but there's this huge Latin component in my heritage and in my culture, but people don't get that because all they see is they
It's
just
black.
see black.
Exactly. That is so true. That is so true. But yeah, just going through, that's kind of how it started with nutrition. And it was like I said, a huge learning curve. I had to become comfortable with being uncomfortable in these environments. And as I started to learn more about statistics, that really, of just the black community and just people of color too, just really, it kept putting fuel in my fire when I felt like, okay, look, I'm about
Mm-hmm.
to switch majors. And I saw only 2% black and then 79% of the, okay, no, I gotta stay. I have to
Yes.
stay. So
Yes.
that's really what kept me going for sure in this
Yes.
field.
Yes. Yes. So so now fast forward, you have graduated from undergrad, you've made a decision that you want to go into grad school. That's a huge step. I mean, I guess like first, what can you do with an undergraduate degree in nutrition,
Mhm.
diet, etc.? What can you do?
Yeah. So Oh, that's very layered. Okay, so right now they are about to try to make a master's mandatory to become a dietitian. I
Mm,
personally am not a fan of that. We're already
mm,
2% black. You just make the
mm-hmm,
disparity worse.
mm-hmm,
But I decided to go into the program one because when we have our internship, you my internship was connected to the masters when I got in. They
mm-hmm,
matched me. It was already a master's right there. I was like, this is perfect. Let me just do
mm-hmm,
that. Plus,
mm-hmm,
I got the job to help me pay for the master's, so it was a
mm-hmm,
perfect fit.
mm-hmm,
But for someone who with dietetics, you have to go through it's nothing like nursing. I wish it was a little bit more like look like nursing, the
mm,
nursing program, but we have to get a 4-year degree and
mm-hmm,
then apply for the internship. For those who
mm-hmm,
maybe just got the 4-year degree in nutrition, emphasis in dietetics, they can, work in a school district. They can, let's see, like work for maybe a health company, something that they need somebody with a nutrition background. But
mm,
the internship part is where you get certified, you go through, your practicum hours. That's when you become a registered dietitian. And then you can work in the
mm-hmm,
hospital. I mean, the doors open up way more than
mm-hmm,
just a nutrition degree.
mm-hmm,
And then I went further and got my master's in public health. So
mm-hmm,
I wanted a component where there's nutrition, but I also wanted that human component, like real life situations,
mm-hmm,
not just like the perfect scenario what they give you in
mm-hmm.
undergrad, because that's not real life. So
That's
yeah,
that's
public
right.
health, it really helped. It just really helped me look at statistics, talk to people because I did my research with African American women living with HIV and their
Mm,
nutritional deficiencies. So I was
yes,
able to talk to people that really embody a lot of different disparities. So HIV, they're usually in low income housing. I mean, it was just like a lot of stuff I could
yes.
really touch, and also bringing in nutrition. A lot of people are, in my undergrad, oh, just have them eat kale and have them eat all fresh fruits and vegetables, and like it's not always
That's
accessible. One,
that is yes, yes,
and maybe kale is just not. Maybe turnip greens. How about mustard
yes,
greens?
yes,
And honestly,
yes.
so it was just, yeah. That's so you can, and so I feel like that really opened the door for me to have a
Mm-hmm,
lot more
mm-hmm,
other jobs. I could be working from the government, working for different, programs that try to help people in the community. What are those called? Like nonprofit
yes,
organizations.
yes.
Right now I work for a health insurance company, which I really love this job. I have a lot of different hats, but yeah, I know that was kind of like
Excellent.
a lot of different
No,
layers.
that's okay. That's okay. That I want to know. So that's good. So, okay, so now you've gone through your grad program and you've kind of taken this specialization in looking at some of the ways in which there is a link between uh, health disparity, income disparity, race disparity,
Right.
and nutrition. And now you're out in the world. And I guess talk to me about all of that, all of those different disparities in
Right.
and how that has fueled what you do in your work right now.
Yeah, definitely. So I made my purpose for my Instagram. I was just one tired of diet culture in a sense,
Mm,
and diet culture. I've it really can be a little racist out here. Not even a little. It can be straight up
word,
racist
word.
because it excludes so many people. Like a lot of people. I'm Nigerian, by the way. I don't know if you can tell by the name, but um so many people will look at their own food. It's been so internalized, and that's why I had to take a step back sometimes because even black people or Nigerian people will be like, "Oh, I mean, collard greens aren't good for you. It's supposed to be kale, or a goosey soup is not good for you. You maybe that's why our family is so big." And it's like that is internalized. Who told you that?
That's
Why is
right.
that a
That's
thing?
not the
So
issue.
it's not. So I think that was like my main reason for creating my platform because it gave me the freedom to just speak the truth. I try to
Hmm.
tell people, look, I will not sway you in the wrong direction.
Hmm.
You can take it, leave it. I'm not here to one judge. I feel like diet culture is very judgy. Tries to give you this perfect outlook. You have to be perfect in order to sustain a certain entrepreneur. Like, I mean, it's a mess. So I
Yes.
think I definitely created it to talk about Black culture specifically, our food specifically, how it is nourishing for your body and not something like, oh, it's my cheat meal. No, it could be your everyday meal. Let's just maybe, look at our portion sizes.
Yes.
Maybe let's swap out certain ingredients, not just completely trash the
Yes.
meal and go for like a salad. No.
Yes.
Um, and then specifically, I was targeting Black women because, again, looking at statistics, Black women really are hitting all of the high charts. And it's scary for me because I am a Black woman and I have a
Mm.
Black mom and a Black grandma.
Mm-hmm.
But then you look at the dynamics in the home. The Black woman is usually always the one in charge, taking care of everybody except
Mm-hmm.
herself. And it just, I mean, the disparities make sense. On so many levels. So that's why I really created it. Really, I was talking to Black women specifically.
Yes.
Hey, wellness, health, and wellness is for you too. It might not look like what has been fed to us,
Yes.
but you can live a healthy, sustainable type of lifestyle, and without kale, without honestly having salads all the time. Like, it's okay. You can have your collard greens. You can have your yams.
Yes.
You just look at it,
Yes.
how we reshape it.
I want to go in so many different directions. So, and
I know.
I got to try to remember all the things that I wanted because I like everything that you're saying. I'm like, okay, I got this, and I got this, and I got this. So for me, the piece about kale or kale versus collard greens, there was
Yeah.
something in it. It's like a twofold thing. There was I saw a post that you made where you had talked specifically about this idea of a cheat meal where someone will say, oh, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get Mexican food, it's my cheat day. Oh, I'm going to go out and I'm going to eat Chinese food, it's my cheat day. Right?
Yeah.
That there's this idea that someone's cultural food is bad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so talk to me a little bit more about that. I just
Yeah.
thought that post was, I was just like, that's
Yeah. Yeah. I had a lady at my full time job who she, this is another pet peeve. A lot of people always talk to me, it's their dietitian. I was bad. I was really bad. I'm like, okay, why are you bad? Did
stop
you
saying
like,
you were bad, you were fine.
you're fine. I'm like, so did you kill your husband finally? Like, what? Like, what did you
Did you
do?
what happened?
That's what I feel like. Do I need to help you cover up? I mean, I won't go to jail for you, but
We don't know
yeah,
each other like that.
exactly. And she was just like, yeah, I had Mexican food 2 nights in a row, and I said only one cheat meal, and I was just like, who told you? Because I'm your dietitian, that never came out of my mouth. So who told you that Mexican food is a cheat meal? That you need a cheat meal? Period.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, I mean, I'm trying to be good. Now, see, we have to let go of these moral words, good and bad. Food is
Yes,
no not good, bad is
that's
neutral.
that's right. It just is.
It just is.
It just is.
So I just got on social media. This is why I like my platform because I can't necessarily turn up on ma'am like I want to. So
Sure
that's
you
why
can. Sure you can. Sure you can. You have a degree in this.
right,
Okay? So
right.
sometimes, I don't know, as a coach, sometimes I just, and I do this sometimes because as a coach, sometimes people, they think that you have all, like, that you do have all of the answers, right? And that you're going to
Mhm.
somehow bestow upon them fitness. I give you
Yes,
fitness. And so
yes,
people think that you are going to bestow upon them, you're going to bestow on them nutrition,
yeah,
and they're going to be healthy
yeah.
because you know what I'm saying? It's like,
That's true.
you got to use your brain too. And it's okay
Yes.
if you tell people, listen, use your brain. It's just Mexican
Yes,
food. It's
yes. Exactly. That is so true. I mean, I just was breaking down to her like we have to work on this mindset because, like I said on my platform all the time, mindset is key. But back to that. So that's the reason I brought started talking about that. I talked about it actually in my story first, but somebody was like, "You need to take this clip and post it to live on your
yes,
thing forever."
yes, yes,
That's exactly what I did. It was because again, so many people do talk about Mexican being a cheat meal. I'm just like, can you imagine being somebody of Latin descent or just Mexican and like, so they come home, they see their, abuela cooking the food, and they're like, okay, Susan just said this is a cheat meal. Everybody's saying this is a cheat meal, and then she turns to her, I'm not gonna actually, I'm gonna no tortillas, no potatoes. I'm just gonna have like the tomatoes and lettuce on the side. Like, I mean, it just, I can just imagine just that breakdown in the
yes,
family unit.
yes, yes,
Because
yes,
food, the table is where you grow your communication skills,
yes,
your identity.
yes.
And if you're constantly hearing that your food is bad or a cheat meal, you're going to avoid it at all costs. But what you're
Mm-hmm.
indirectly doing is avoiding, like, those passing down those traditions to you so you can pass
Mm-hmm.
it down to your family, getting to know yourself, your family. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Your
so that's,
culture, all of
yeah,
it,
I'm tired of
all of
it.
it,
So
all of
like,
it, all of
mm-hmm,
it, all of the just all of the shared knowledge of your ancestors is
yep,
sort of in some way passed down, through the food. There is currently on Netflix. I'm not going to remember the name of the TV show, but
yeah.
this gentleman is going basically essentially tracing back the food roots of African American foods.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking
You
about.
know
I
what I'm
haven't
talking about?
watched it yet. I
It
haven't watched it
is,
yet. It's
it's
like
the
Hog
first,
something,
oh,
but
it's so, so good. The first episode is just, it's, it's amazing. It's really,
wow.
really amazing. And there's one, I don't want to give it all away,
Right.
since you haven't seen it yet, but there's one scene where he goes back and he visits a place where
Yeah.
slaves were like literally
Mm-hmm.
departed the Ivory Coast, and to see the impact that visiting this place had upon him, and like it was like palpable, like you could
Yeah.
feel it, and to see
Mm-hmm.
how the various foods, I think there were a few Nigerian dishes in that
Oh,
particular episode. It's a great show, and
yeah.
it prompted my husband to say, I bought a vegan book on African, African dishes, so we can cook some African dishes. And the next
Yeah.
week I made some peanut stew. So it's
Yes. I
right.
love that. Yes, and the fact that, first of all, I'm most definitely about to start watching it this
It's
weekend. Need to stop
so
putting it off.
good.
But even veganism, I was just somebody was just messaged me. They're like, because I said something about vegan, not somebody said she tried eating clean for a week and she
Mm.
can honestly say that she does not feel better. And I posted that and I said, this is the most realist thing I've ever seen about somebody dieting. Because I mean,
I
people, everything was to post like, oh, I lost this much weight. Post when you gain it back, please. Post when you don't feel good.
Yes, let's talk about that specifically, not specifically like being vegan or vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian for going on 35 years, so
Oh,
I'm not going to be eating meat in any time in the near future, so it's
most
just not
definitely.
happening. And I just and like just eating vegan is just like, it's just a personal choice, and I don't it,
Yes.
I'll take a side note soon. I don't want to go
Yes.
down that rabbit hole, but let's talk about dieting,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So I I have not nearly as much skill nor knowledge in this arena as you do. I recently like took a certification course in nutrition, and even my mind was like blown, and I had the intention of like, I don't want to be like doling out,
Yeah.
advice, diet advice to people. But the
Right.
first person who came to me wanted, I feel like some kind of like a diet plan. And I'm like,
Right.
I'm not doing that for you. I'm not
Yeah.
doing diets because you
Okay.
need, and a person who's a runner, I'm like, you need food for your body to do this thing.
Yes.
Let's talk about
Ooh,
it.
yes. It is tough out here. Let me tell you, I try so hard to instill like it is really balanced. We're not trying to be perfect.
Yes.
And you really need, I tell people, you need carbs. Please
Yes.
stop shying away from them,
Yes.
especially as a
Please
runner
stop
or
with
athlete.
stop the keto. Please stop the keto.
Please, please. I mean, now, and then people go from maybe eating way too much carbs to let
Yes.
me cut them all out and go to, strict
Yes.
keto. I'm like,
Yes.
where's the center here? Where's the balance?
And then when there's, I don't know, and then there's like this moment, uh, I don't know. I probably have listeners who are doing the keto diet, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but everybody who I've ever known who's on a strict ketogenic diet has been very mean. And you want to
Yeah.
know why? Because their brain isn't getting the
Right.
fuel that they need to function.
It's the brain. I'm telling you, your brain needs only glucose. Your brain will only use
That's
glucose,
it.
which is sugar, which is
That's
carbs.
it.
That's it.
That's it.
I mean, your body will, I tell this is a little, of course, a little science. Your body will try to convert energy from your protein and
Mm,
fat into glucose, but it's a very slow process.
yes.
You just start eating the carb right away will get your body back
Yes.
where it needs to be quick.
Yes.
But I mean, it's everybody's like I'm just one person. I always tell people I'm one person out here on
Mm,
this big sea of diet culture,
mm,
and
mm,
it gets very tough. But I tell people, look, balance is key.
mm,
Mindset is key because
mm,
honestly, what diet culture does, it gets to your mind and then it has you with the nutrition. So let's start looking at food as just nourishing. Stop with the calories. Let's just look
mm,
at our plate, see how full you are. If you're no longer, a lot of people have been dieting so long, they don't feel hunger anymore. So they
mm,
can go all day without eating and
mm.
think like, okay, I can still do my workout or I can still like get these gains. It's like you're not gaining a thing.
That's right. That's
You're not
right.
gaining anything.
That's right. That's
Your
right.
muscles probably actually depleting at this point,
That's right.
depending on how
That's
long
right.
you're doing it.
That's right. That's right. And holding,
So
holding, holding on to it's holding on now that because you haven't eaten anything, you're holding on to your fat
yeah,
because
yes,
it's like I had a conversation with somebody about that, about the weird, like it's weird. I'm like, it's totally weird. You
it's
would
so weird.
think that if you eat more,
I mean,
that you
right,
would gain weight, especially, like whatever. But I'm like, but if you're working out, you're burning calories, so you need to eat more. Where if you eat
right.
less, then your body's like, oh
Yeah, it's like
no, what am I going
no,
to do? So your body just starts holding on to the calories and holding on to your fat because it's
right,
like, I don't know what's going to happen. What am I going to eat
exactly,
next?
exactly. That is so good. I try to. I mean, you have to be as animated as possible with people because when I try to give them the science, they're like,
Yeah,
no.
that's right.
But it's. I mean, I tell people your body is not here to for you to be cute. It's trying
That's
here
right.
to make you survive. It's trying
That's
to get
right.
you through the day
That's
because
right.
you have decided not to nourish it. You're putting it on the back burner, so it's
That's
going to
right.
slow down your metabolism, so it doesn't need
Yes.
to burn as much
That's
anymore.
exactly right. That's exactly right.
It's survival.
That's right. That's right. That's right. It doesn't make sense in the like your brain can't make sense of it, but that your body knows what it needs. And if
Oh, it
you,
does.
if you
It
don't,
does.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I have a lot of clients, of course, and even like the weight loss is very nuanced for me. I'm
Mm,
not one to look at somebody, okay, weight loss. Like, no, no, no.
mm,
If you have to tell me you want weight loss, I will not put that on you. I don't care if your BMI is super high. Let's just
mm.
work on nutrition. And I always tell people weight loss really is it's the side effects. You can't affect with the scale. You can't tell the scale
Yes.
go here. Well,
Yes.
let's work on your food. Let's work on your stress.
Yes.
Your sleep. A lot of people will be, sleep 2 hours a night. I'm like,
Yes.
you cannot do that.
Another
Sleep
way.
is
Yes,
recovery.
that's right.
Yes,
It's another way where your body is just like, oh, you're not sleeping, so I got to go into survival mode because I'm not getting
exactly.
what I need. I got to do it. I got to hold it.
Yep.
because I need it.
Exactly. That is so true. It's multifaceted, and uh,
Yes.
I don't even know what else to say on that, but yeah, it's just all over the place. Yeah.
I love it because I feel like this is why I really, really wanted to have you here because I love the way that I love the way that you think. And it, in some ways, is very validating to me because I feel like these are the things that I tell people as a coach, right? Like I've said that to people as a coach. Somebody will say, I want to lose weight. I really, really want to lose weight. Well, look,
Right.
if you run and you're generally, you're not like, look, and again, I don't want to, again, not placing judgment on anybody who might do
Right.
it, but if you run 3 miles and you come
Right.
home, you eat a little something as opposed to an entire pizza, right?
Right.
If that's what
Right.
somebody wants to do, that's fine. Not passing
Right.
judgment, but if you run and it's like you generally have a little bit of a calorie deficit, weight loss is going to happen. It's going to happen because
Right.
you're burning more calories. It's going to happen. It's just something that's naturally going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And it's just, and then a lot of people, there are a lot of people on the internet that will give a prescription weight loss thing, but it's cookie cutter. Everybody's lifestyle and what they need and the foods they like are so different.
Yes.
And people will, it does take a calorie deficit in this most simplest form. That's all you
Yes.
need. But
Yes.
so many people will, okay, I'm gonna cut out all the foods I like and do this. And it's like, that's not
Yes.
sustainable.
No, it's
Can you,
not.
I tell people, are you gonna do that for the rest of your life? Just think of it.
Yes.
Can you do this for the rest of your life? If you can't,
Yes.
it's not the thing for you.
Yes. That's right.
And
That's exactly right.
it's a change. Like a lot of people think, okay, I'm gonna lose weight and I've made it. I'm done.
That's right.
No.
And then you've made it and now you can go back to the way that you were before. And unfortunately, that's when you're going to go that is exactly what's going to happen.
That's
You will
exactly
go
what
back
happened.
to the way that you were before because you
Mhm.
have not, in fact, as you have mentioned before, changed your mindset
Yes.
around eating and change the habits
Yes.
that go with it. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then even just again, simplest form, calorie deficit, but I have a lot of, late 30s, 40s, 50s year old women who work with me and it's like you have been dieting for decades.
Mm,
When you get to me, you are finally like, okay, I need a real professional at
mm,
40 years old. Okay, fine. But let's give our body some grace here. It
mm,
has to take its time to change, get your
mm-hmm,
metabolism back at a place that's up to speed to what you don't need. It
mm-hmm.
takes a lot of time, and a lot of people want that instant
Yes.
gratification, and I
Yes.
won't work for that either. So,
Yes. 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 So, so good. So good.
mhm.
Now I had something else I wanted to ask you about, and I can't remember what it is. Dang it.
I know I can do that sometimes. I'm just
Now I don't remember what it is. And I'm like, I'll probably remember after we get off the call. Um, so I work, predominantly, obviously, with runners, talking
right.
with runners, et cetera, et cetera. What would be the best advice that you could give to the runners who are listening in terms of their wellness and their nutrition and fueling for the activity that they're engaging in?
Right. I would definitely say, um, don't feel like because I have a lot of people who are runners or really trying to be athletes, and I give them like all these you have your meals and you have your snacks, and they're like, this
Hmm.
is not this is too much. No, it's not too much.
That's
You're
right.
not eating too much. Trust me. If
That's
you
right.
are trying to fuel and build muscle, get faster, you need this energy. Of course,
Yes.
let's look at our proteins. Now, a lot of I say increase protein, but I don't want you to increase your meat protein. Now, you can have your
Mm,
normal size if you are someone who's eating meat. You can have your
mm,
normal 3 ounce chicken, but if I want you to have a little bit of protein, let's look at our vegetable sources of protein
mm, mm.
because I don't want to increase your sodium levels or increase
Yes.
your saturated fat in your body. We're not
Yes.
trying to do that. So I always tell
Yes.
people if you want to increase protein, look at vegetable sources, look
Mm,
at plant protein sources,
mm,
and try to have your 3 meals, of course, and at least one snack a day. But it really
mm,
does vary about what
mm.
people how tall they are, how big they are, what they have going on. But
Sure.
I will
Sure.
say definitely 3 meals a day, a snack, and you have to schedule it. Put a reminder on your phone to
Yes.
eat
Yes.
something. It doesn't have to be a big snack either.
Yes.
Literally, less than the palm of your hand with a stick of cheese will do the
Yes.
trick. So
Yes. Just a
yeah,
little something to carry you over the
yes,
next, the next little hump of energy there.
exactly,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Nothing wrong with eating. Feel like you're, oh my god, I'm eating too much. No, you're
No,
not. But
that's exactly right. I had that conversation with somebody as well. They're like, I don't know. I don't have any energy. Maybe you're not eating enough food. I don't know.
That's yes, yes. A lot of my clients after at the end of our 3 month program, they're like, "Yeah, I actually am not as tired during the day like I was before, or I'm actually like outrunning my kids sometimes." Like, yes, because you're eating enough, and they usually start with me. People think dietitian, oh, diet is in the name, so she's gonna put me on a restrictive diet. No, a lot of people are like, end up like, "Why are you really trying to get me to eat out here?" Yes,
Yes.
yes. I'm trying to fill you up.
I'm trying to have you not be in that survival mode that we were talking about.
Exactly.
Trying to have you be in thrive mode.
No, exactly.
Thrive. Yes. So
This,
if people who are listening, if they are thinking about, maybe working with you, tell me a little bit about some of the programs that you offer for helping people to basically change their mindset around eating.
sure. So I have the free, of course, Instagram page, Melanin Poppin RDN. You can find me on there. I am very much a person who jumps in people's DMs when people first follow me. I'm like, hey, nice to meet you, whatever's going on.
Yes.
So I'm definitely not a stranger. Feel free to ask me questions through there. But I do have um, my investment program. It is called the Nourished Mindset Academy. And mindset is huge, huge, huge for me. I mean, just again talking about my own journey, how I've had to change my mindset many times to
Mm,
fit where I'm going, and
mm,
that's what people need to do. So
mm,
I do hit mindset hard in my program, but we also talk about, of course, nutrition. I
mm,
dispel different myths to help people get past their limiting beliefs because your
mm,
limiting belief will not get you into doing certain actions. So we
mm.
have to dispel that as well.
Yes, yes,
A lot of people get in the Nourish Mindset Academy and they're like, okay, it's going to be heavy on food, but really it's heavy on just what's going on mentally with you because I can't
yes,
get past you.
yes,
Um, so the program is 3 month program. I do have an application, so I make sure I'm looking at the application, making sure you are a good fit for the program. We're a good fit to work
yes,
together because
yes,
I am very hands on.
yes.
And it's pretty high accountability, and a lot of people don't realize you need accountability to change. I
That's, oh,
know
yes, you do.
it's a yucky thing. I know people are like, oh, she gotta tell me when I'm not doing something. Yes, because my ladies they change. So,
Yes,
yeah. So if you are listening, and you are looking for a different method and a method that focuses on your mindset, I am definitely the person for you. You can definitely hit
yes,
me up if you are looking about nutrition and weight loss specifically, or just really wanting to change the lineage in your family. A lot of people will say diabetes runs in the family. It's like, no,
mm,
your eating habits or the trauma or something else is running in the
mm,
family, not
mm,
just diabetes by itself.
mm.
So that's kind of what I do as well.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Talk to me a little bit more about the work that you're doing around mindset. So, like, what are some of the key, critical, and important things that someone must have in order
Mhm.
to work through moving forward in their nutrition, changing their nutrition habits?
Yeah. So when it comes to mindset right away, when it comes to nutrition. So for example, I get your application, we talk on the phone, and I'm vetting you with questions about using words like good food, bad food, or have you been using a cheat meal? They're saying stuff like, no, I know that stuff is not good, but I don't understand. Like, I'm trying to figure out where do I turn. So if you have a mindset of, I know this is not healthy for me, but I'm ready to learn something different. A lot of
Mm.
people are not necessarily ready to learn something different or
Yes.
ready to verbalize that just yet. So
Yes.
um, just having a mindset of being open and
Yes.
ready to get uncomfortable,
Yes.
because it's not a comfortable process. If it was, we
Yes.
all be just where we want to be
That's
100% of the
right.
time.
That's right. That's right.
Like,
That's right.
yeah.
That's exactly right. If it was comfortable to challenge the old ways of
Ooh,
thinking, we would all just every day wake up and go, oh, you know what? I'm just going to think different today.
yes. Yes. Well, I don't know. I mean, this apartment look no plan, but but yes, you have to be ready to get uncomfortable for
Mm.
sure.
Excellent, excellent,
Mhm.
excellent. This has been the best conversation. I love it. I continue to absolutely love the way that you engage with nutrition and food. I love it. It really fills up my cup to hear everything that you have to
Mhm.
say. So, I have my
Thank
last question that I would like to ask. If you have ever been given
you. Mhm.
advice, if you've ever been given advice, or if there's advice that you would like to give, what
Okay.
would it be?
This is tough. This is tough. Mm, if I ever given advice to me. Um, I think so. There is some advice. Oh my gosh! Look, if I butcher it, just cut it out. But
That's okay.
um, seasons, for example, there she said seasons come and go. There's fall, there's spring, winter, summer, and we change our clothes, we change our hair. We get used to whatever scenario we're in. Just keep that in mind when it comes to your business, when it comes
Mm,
to your relationships.
mm,
Um, that it's okay to change, and it happens. Your
mm.
friends, people leave, people come, and it's all part of just this thing we call life and our journey. So
Yes.
really just being open to change.
Yes.
That was the moral of the story. Like growth is change is necessary for growth, and if you stop
Yes.
changing, you'll stop growing. And
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Perfect, perfect advice. Perfect. Esosa. It has been the
Yeah.
best conversation. Thank you so much for joining me here on the show. I really appreciate
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me.
it. My pleasure. All right.